podcast. Excuse me. This is episode 14. And thank you all for coming. I'm Z. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as NoodlKnits. I also have a Facebook page, which is also NoodlKnits. I haven't been doing much there, but I'm trying. And I'm also NoodlKnits on Twitter and Periscope. I've done a little on Periscope, but I haven't done anything in quite a while. But I like Periscope. I guess I haven't thought about it lately. And I am now on Etsy as NoodlKnits, and I'll talk about that more later on in the episode. So welcome. I hope you all are doing well at whatever and wherever and whenever you are. All is well here. The weather is trying to cool off, which has got my guys all like drainage and hoarse in the mornings. But I'll talk about that more later. I think I hit everything for my intro, so let's go on to finished objects. Let's start with that. So first off, I've got a finished pair of socks. Finished my Regia socks. Although I think it's Regia. I was watching a Homespun House, Molly, and she's German, so she would know, and it's Regia, or Regia. So, not Gia. So this was the first one, I think. Yeah. I think. Who cares? Anyways, I got this yarn back in June when I was visiting my parents at the yarn shop there called Gourmet Yarn Company, which was a really nice yarn shop, and I'm definitely going to be going back there when I'm there in December for Christmas. But that's when I got this yarn. I was really excited to find it on their shelf, and then my mom was really interested in the yarn, and I think I'll be making her a pair of self-patterned socks, like faux ferrule socks for Christmas, but I think I might use the Cascade Heritage prints, but more on that later. So, I was really excited about these, but I sent her a picture of them and she said, "Oh, I love them, I'm jealous of your feet." So, it's just I did these socks on a US 1.5, which is a 2.5 millimeter needle. I used my Addy Turbo Sock Rockets. Okay, like I was saying, I used my Addy Turbo Sock Rockets, which is a 40-inch cable, so I did the magic loop, and it's, excuse me, just a 60 stitch sock, 1 by 1 rib for 2 inches, and I think on this sock, my cuff is only about 5 inches total, and then I did a Fish Lips Kiss heel, and knit on the foot, and these were a squared toe, which I'm probably never going to do again after this pair. So I did this one back in June, and I got it done really quick, and then I just never cast this one on, and I finally got it done. So, which I think actually one of my toes ended up being more narrow than the other one. Yeah, just because of how I decreased more onto this one than on that one. So they don't match perfectly. None of my socks do. I don't really care. So got that. That's one FO. And my other one is the little Ava. I have a couple of ends that need weaving, but it's not a big deal. It needs to be blocked pretty badly, and then I'll get buttons. But I finished this in time, or in the amount of time that I wanted to. Today was the last day for the Rainbow Knit Along and the Sept Cal for the Knitting Expat, and I was able to enter it into both, and that gave me 2 entries in the Rainbow Knit Along, I think, and 4 in the Sept Cal. So that was exciting. So I got that done. It's pretty heavy. I don't know what's up with the yarn, but the yarn ended up being really dense. I don't know if maybe I just knit it with a really tight gauge, or what, but it ended up being a really dense sweater. So it's a pretty heavy sweater. It'd be probably more like a coat, like a winter coat, because my parents only live in Oklahoma, so it's not like it gets super duper cold there. But I don't know, we'll see. I really hope they like it, because now looking at it, it's really bright and colorful, and I'm like, what if they absolutely hate it? My goal was that they would see that it's bright and colorful and put it as a play jacket or a play sweater. And so I was kind of hoping that they would see the bright colors and think it was fun and it was for playing and that she could play in it outside and it wouldn't be a big deal. And now I'm like, what if they just hate it though? But knowing my parents, I don't think they really will. And my dad's a stay-at-home dad, so he's the one that dresses them. So I think if they know that this is warm and she's just running out in the yard, I'm sure he'll just grab it and put it on her, hopefully. So hopefully. This arm I did on DPNs. This one I'll talk about in Stash Enhancement. I used a circular, but on this one I had started it on DPNs, so I just went ahead and finished it on DPNs. And there's like a little jog there where I need to weave in the ends, and then it'll close that up. But this pulled in the worst way. So you can see where I separated for the body, or for this, I separated the sleeves, and then all of a sudden it's just, and this is right here, you can see right here where the yellows and the reds are just together, and they aren't mixed up with the green. That was me just using one skein. Or, I mean, I used one skein for the whole thing, but that was me not alternating. And then I was like, well, maybe if I alternate each row and pull from the outside and the inside of the skein, then it'll clear it up. And I'm glad that it mixed the greens and yellows together, but the blue and silver is what that is, or blue and gray, is, still pulling. So it ended up being pulled in like this swirl way, and I really don't like it. If the other arm had done it, it wouldn't be such a big deal, but it didn't do it so bad. You could see it kind of did right here, but on the back, oh well, I guess it kind of did back there too. I'm having trouble seeing that when I just look straight at it, I guess. But like on camera and pictures and stuff, I can tell that it really did pull. But it doesn't look so bad on this arm versus, like, you can't really tell where I separated off for the sleeves and then all of a sudden it started pulling like on the other arm. And this is so irritating me because on this one I used the exact same skein and I alternated every other row from the outside and inside. So I have no idea why it did that, but it irritates me. And I posted it on Facebook, and my friends and family were saying that it really wasn't that big a deal, and that they either really didn't notice or they kind of just thought it was supposed to be or something. I don't know. They just said it really wasn't that big a deal. So it's going somewhere where I won't have to stare at it all day. So I really hope my parents don't hate it. And like I said, wasn't meant to be for church or anything. It was meant to be for them to throw on and run outside and play or something. So this actually fits Rowan. I didn't mean to make it to fit Rowan, but it does. It fits Rowan, except the sleeves. The sleeves are a little bit short. They aren't really short. If he wore it, it just barely comes down to his wrist right here. But if he raises his arms up, it goes up to here. So the sleeves don't really fit in. They're kind of short, but I'm hoping they'll be okay on my sister, and it'll probably be massive on her. And like I said, it really needs a blocking. This is all trying to roll up, and then I'm going to get some fun buttons for it. But I was able to enter them into the knit along. So last time I showed you guys, I was right there where that little house progress keeper is. And so in a week, because last time I recorded, it's pretty much been a week, I got all of that done. What, can you see it? Oh yeah, I got all of that done and both sleeves, which each sleeve only really took a day. So I did this one on DPNs and then this one on circular. This one only took a couple hours on circular. So there's that. And those are my 2 FOs. Well, actually I had a third FO. I finished the second maritime face cloth that I had cast on a while back, but it's packaged up and ready to go to my parents, so I don't have that to show. Moving on to whips. Start with this one in my Mina Makes bag. Is the second little tushy sock, because I remember I lovingly dubbed these the little tushy socks for Rowan. So this is the second one. I've already turned my heel. I am doing these on a 2.75 millimeter needle, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And that's a US 2. And they're Hayahayas. And it's a 9-inch circular. And it's a 44-inch sock. And 1x1 rib for, I want to say it was like 1.5 inch-ish. Or maybe just over an inch. Yeah, it wasn't very long. And then I think the whole entire cuff is maybe like 3 inches. And then Fish Lips Kiss heel in the contrast color. And then I'll knit the foot and do the toes in contrast color. And so I did these opposite colors. Which this one's showing up really vibrant on camera. It's really not that vibrant. It's really purple like that, but it's just not that vibrant. And the yarn is Cascade Heritage Sock in the Mango and Dahlia colorways. So that's that. And they make me think of Halloween. I think they're really fun. And then my next whip, sorry. I really don't have that much on the needles this time, which is honestly, I'm not complaining. It's good. Just compared to the last couple of times I've been on camera, I've had like lots of stuff on the needles. I feel like I got a lot done in this week. I definitely did. I finished 3 things for sure. One thing I'm not going to show today is Rowan's stocking. I showed that last week and I didn't put any work on it this week, so I'm not going to show it again. But I have until Christmas to finish that, so it's not a big deal. And I'm kind of thinking that I'll get a circular, 16-inch circular to finish that up. I don't know, just because I'm not really liking doing it on the DPNs, because they're really long and they're fiddly. So, I'm not showing that this week. So, with what I'm showing today and that, I've only got 3 whips. So, that's pretty good it's still a lot for me, I think. But that's pretty good compared to the past couple of times that I've showed. So, this one is living in my That Semi-Feral Girl with my alpacas. I guess I should stop showing you guys these bags because you'll see them a million times. Oh, the other thing I have on the needles is the Cozy Memories blanket. I have not done any work on that in a while, so I'm not going to show that either. But I cast on the Little Red One shawl sweater. The Little Red One jumper, and that is not actually a pattern name. I am following the Easy Top-Down Raglan Knit-Along, I think is what it's called. Yeah, it doesn't say in my notes. So I think it's the Easy Top-Down Raglan Knit-Along by Susan B. Anthony. It's like a 3-year-old knit-along, but I'm following that pattern because it's a recipe. So it's not really a pattern. It's a recipe for a custom fit, and it's really meant for bigger people. I mean, that sounds terrible. I mean, not children. It's meant for like adults or young adults. But I figured the math still applies. I mean, it's just math. Math kind of is universal and goes for everything. But I figure the math kind of just goes for everybody. So math is math, right? And it's working. I mean, I keep trying it on Rowan. Since it's custom fit, I want to make sure it'll actually fit him. And it is working. The math is working. So I'll show it now after rambling on. Okay, I'm not super far on this. And it's all kind of scrunched up on the needle. So it'll be kind of hard to show. But I've got... Sorry. This is going to be harder than I thought. So this is the neck, and I mean, obviously I haven't done the garter or anything on it, and this is the front. So what they have you do is knit back and forth for a couple of inches until, I did 2 inches, until you reach where you want your collar to be. So basically you knit like back, it's a free pattern, so I don't mind telling you guys this. You knit back and forth until the starting stitch is wherever you want to reach, which I think on a row, and I put it down to like right here, which ended up just being 2 inches, and then you join in the round. So, and then I've got, you know, the front and shoulders and back, and everything lands in the right spot on him. When I take it off and put it on scrap yarn, I try it on him. And this little random is self-striping yarn, so every once in a while a random red dot gets in with the cream. But I thought these colors are so fun and autumnal. Autumnal? Is that how you pronounce it? Because that sounds wrong now. So I really like it. I'm really enjoying it. And I named it the Little Red One Jumper, because it's a jumper. Or, I mean, it's a sweater in America, but it's British yarn, so it's a jumper, and his name means Little Red One. This yarn is, oh no, where's my, oh, there it is, okay. My ball band came off. Okay, this is the skein. I've got like 6 skeins in my bag right now. Oh, 5, okay. And it is the Yarn Fair Stripes in DK, and the colorway is red, gray, brown, and it is shade number 56517, and it's 75 acrylic, 25 wool. It's really soft, like it's amazingly soft, and it's really, really wonderful to work with. It just glides through your fingers, and it's wonderful. I love it. So that's the ball band. And this is, like I said, this is British yarn. So it was something, it's like from Britain. I guess it's something that you can get at like this, just like the, at Wilco there. So like the whatever store that you can buy yarn at. It's not like a special yarn or anything. But I was sent this yarn by a friend, so, and this was my swatch. And this is the ribbing I'm going to do around the collar and along the bottom and the cuffs is the cabled rib. So that's my swatch. And I'm having a lot of fun working on that. And the only reason I'm not further is because I yesterday spent most of the day working on the little tushy socks, because I was like, part of me was kind of hoping that I could finish it up and be done with it yesterday. I wanted to try and be done with it yesterday so that I could enter it into the SeptCal. That didn't happen, and I realized it wasn't going to happen sometime in the afternoon. So anyways, what I was just doing is I added a progress keeper, my little sheep progress keeper, so that next time when I show you guys, you'll be able to see how much progress I got. Oh, and the other thing on the little tushy socks was I kind of wanted to be able to work on them in church and stuff and not go ahead and finish them. But I guess if I did, I have another pair that I could cast on for myself, so it wouldn't really be that big of a deal. So that is all of my FOs and whips. I feel like I've rambled on a little bit. So moving on to stash enhancement. The first thing is I got these needles. That's what I did the other sleeve on for the little Ava. I like these Chalgu. I have another pair of Chalgu that are bigger. I want to say they're like a 40-inch cable, and I think they're like 8, size US 8. I don't know what that is in millimeters. One of the things I really love about them is on one of the needles, they laser on the size. It's not going to show you. I think you can not see that at all, but they laser it on. So it says Chalgu 7 4.5 millimeter, and then it says plus. I don't know why, but one of the things I don't like about them, I'll just give you guys a quick review on these needles. this is my first time using these small ones, but on my other ones it's the same. These are like Chagu knit red. Okay, so they're not like red lace or anything. They're just premium stainless steel, and then I think all of their cords are, I think the red lace is like the lace needles. So anyways, since these needles aren't really slick, they kind of have a little bit of a stickiness to them. Is that terrible? No, because I knit with wood sometimes and it's not awful. It's just a little bit stickier than I would like versus my Knit Picks needles. So that's one downfall, but it's got a lot of really good pluses. The joins are really smooth. Sometimes this kind of irritates me, but it's not that big of a deal. But the joins are really smooth on the from the cable to the needle, really smooth. Like you're not gonna snag anything on that. And I like the cable. It's a stainless steel cable, which is I think coated in nylon. It says flexible multi-strand nylon coated steel cable with no memory, and it doesn't have a memory. So like even with my longer ones, when I pulled it out, you know how like longer ones are all twisted up to fit. It wasn't doing things like other ones do where it's still trying to be all twisted up, because the steel cable really doesn't have any memory, and it's hard to kink the steel cable. I might have a kink in my longer one because I kind of didn't treat my needles well. I've only just recently started treating my needles right. But so I like that. Now, if you're trying to use them for like magic loop, it can be done with this cable. It's just a little bit harder because it is a pretty sturdy cable. I would use these more for like if you're going to be knitting something heavy on them, or you really just want them to be a sturdy cable. Like on my longer ones, if I was going to knit something heavy on them, like a sweater or something, then I would want that sturdier cable, I think, if all of the stitches are going to be on it. These aren't that big a deal because I'm going to be knitting small things on them, but I do like it for this because, I mean, the only reason you're going to have this is a 12-inch circular. The only reason you're going to have this small is if you're going to have the needles going or the stitches going all the way around. And I'll probably from now on use this for baby hats. I like that idea for baby hats. So, and I mean, like, you can tell it's got no memory because it lays completely flat. I mean, it wants to be flat. So, sorry, let me get these back in their package. And I'm going to take a sip of my tea really quick. Today I'm just having some apple crunch. It's not my favorite, but I don't dislike it, so. But I'm not really a big fan of like apple in things, like unless it's like I don't like apple candy or anything. I like apple pie and I like apples by themselves, and I know this isn't an artificial flavor, this is actually apple in it, but I guess it just tastes close enough to an artificial flavor that it's not really my favorite. Okay, moving on, sorry. The next stash enhancement is that I got a grab bag, a yarn grab bag from Love Knitting. I got a Bergère de France grab bag. And my friend had actually got a grab bag too, or she had gotten like 2 or 3 grab bags. And she got hers and she hated it. So we were kind of expecting mine to be similar, but mine's actually really good. So this is how it came. And I've got 2 skeins of the Bergère de France Magic Plus. And that's pretty much showing true to color. And it's the Anise colorway. And that is shade number 20784, or maybe it's shade number J9215. I don't know. But it's 50% unshrinkable worsted wool. It's actually an Aran weight yarn. And 50% acrylic. So, machine washable, acrylic and wool, and it's nice. It's a good color. And the other ones I got 3. I won't show you all 3. But I got 3 of the Bergère de France Baltic in the Hul colorway, or Hul. I would say Hula or Ula. They don't pronounce H's, so I would say Uya. I don't know, but I should know that, but I don't. And so this is 60% acrylic and 40% polyamide. So 50% acrylic and 40 polyamide nylon. So I like those. I like these two together a lot. This one is, I mean, you can kind of see, maybe it's got like a halo on it. It's really soft. And this is a really round yarn. Like, can you see that? Really round and plump. And they are both Aran weight. I looked on their website to be sure because I didn't see it actually listed out anywhere other than like the gauge that they're expecting you to get. But so I just looked it up on their website and it says Aran. But I think these go really well together. And I was really happy with what came. And I think I've got 3 skeins of this, which is, these are 50-gram skeins, and they have 87 yards each one. This one has 87, this one has 87. I have 3 of this and 2 of this. And so I think they would really go well for Rowan. And I'm thinking I might try to do a sweater for him out of these. I'll have to figure out how I want to do the striping. But yeah. And I think I'll have enough. I have something like 400 something yards. So I think that should be enough for a sweater for him. I'm not entirely sure though. Maybe a cardigan? I don't know. I'll think about it. I have time to think about it. I'd like to finish the little red one first, but so anyways, I was really happy with what came in there. And Bergère de France was something that I had heard another podcaster talk about, or she was using for something, and I kind of wanted to try it. So whenever I saw that they had a Bergère de France grab bag, I was like, oh, I'll get that one. Because I wanted to try Lana Grossa too, but my friend had grabbed the last one of those. So there's that. And that is all of my stash enhancement. Yay! Okay, so let's move on to knit along news. There are 45 entries in the knit along currently. For any new viewers, this is the one thing I forgot to mention at the beginning. We have a Ravelry group. It is the NoodlKnits podcast. Under the groups tab on Ravelry, you can just search it. And I am currently running a knit along for socks. You can knit any socks. Doesn't matter what kind, doesn't matter what pattern, doesn't matter what color, just socks. And it is called the NoodlKnits Operation Sock Drawer Knit Along, and the hashtag is #NoodlKnitsOSDKAL. And to enter, you post a FO photo in the thread. And I think this started sometime in August. So as long as you finish something since sometime in August, I'd have to look it up. It'd be on there if you're wondering when it started. It's in the thread. And each finished object photo gets an entry. And I'm letting this run until December 31st because I wanted this to be kind of like a year long, even though I started it in the middle of the year kind of thing. So there's that. We have 45 entries. Okay, moving on to the next thing. I am still considering doing an informal knit along for the Elborn shawl. I haven't quite decided yet. I'm waiting for my 2 friends that are going to be knitting it with me to we're waiting on one of my friends to finish up her sweater, and then the other one is just like, just let me know when we're going to do it. So, which I might want to finish up my little red one first. So anyways, I wanted to talk about new to me podcasts. I have been listening lately, and these are all audio only. So these are ones that I actually really just listen to when I'm doing dishes, or usually just when I'm doing dishes, when I'm cleaning. And that is the Actually Knitting podcast. And these are all on YouTube, on iTunes. So the Actually Knitting podcast, she has a really nice smooth voice. And the Commuter Knitter, she actually records her podcast while she's driving to or from work. So I thought that was really cool. You can actually hear the car sounds in the back. And Knit British is just talking about, I mean, they're very pro knitting with British wool. So, and she's currently in Shetland Wool Week. But I enjoyed that one. That one's nice. And the last one is the Downseller Studio podcast, which I started listening to because I found her knit along the Downseller Studio pigskin party, which I have entered. And so I started listening to the podcast when I entered. And those are all very good. I think it's the actually knitting one. She's got a really nice voice, very smooth. And I don't know. And then other podcasts that I listen to, which I've talked about before, are Undisclosed, which is true crime kind of, and Serial, whenever it comes back. They're doing a second season. I listen to that one. And Welcome to Night Vale, which I just found out. I'm so sorry, my nose is so itchy today. One of my friends from high school, he had told me that he knew a yarn dyer, or he said a pretty prominent yarn dyer in the area or something like that. And I was like, well, who is it? And in my mind, I was thinking Jinx, because she is a very prominent yarn dyer in that area of kind of like where we went to school and stuff. And I was like, no, there's no way, unless he knew her husband or something. But I think they're a little bit older than us, so just by a little bit. So I was like, there's no way that that's who it is. So I really wanted to know who it was. And turns out it's, I don't know her name. I didn't write it down, but her store is Tasteless Designs, and she's on Etsy. And she dyes, she's very similar to Jinx in that she dyes very nerdy colorways, and she was just at Anime Fest. And so I'm like, I'm kind of in the back of my head wondering if they know each other. And then that would be pretty cool. So anyways, one of the things that I have been really kind of wanting, because I love Welcome to Night Vale podcast. That's like my favorite podcast. I get really excited when it posts new episodes. And I like binge listen to all of the old episodes during like dishes and cleaning. And I got through them really quickly, considering how many there were. And now I'm dying to go to a live show. But I have been kind of like wanting a Night Vale inspired yarn. And I was kind of wondering if Jinx could make it, because she does the nerdy yarn colorways. But Tasteless Designs does. She has a Welcome to Night Vale colorway, which is like purples and blacks and things, which the logo is purples and blacks and white. And then she has a Hooded Figures colorway, which I want to say is like blacks and reds, which is also from Night Vale. And she also has Roving in the Welcome to Night Vale colorway. I just think that's awesome. And then she also has a colorway called 'Tis Only a Flesh Wound, which is like reds and stuff. I feel like I'm getting the Hooded Figure. I'm getting all of these wrong probably, but the 'Tis Only a Flesh Wound is from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, which I love, and my husband loves. And they were, whenever I first met my husband and his dad, they were a little surprised that I knew what Monty Python and the Holy Grail was, and that I could pick up on those references. Tyler got over the like shock pretty quickly, but his dad was like, oh, she knows that? It was kind of funny. I guess they didn't have a lot of people that did. But anyways, sorry, tangent. She has that one. Oh, this was just like what was in her store whenever I looked. And there wasn't much in there. But the other one was something really nerdy that I liked too. And now I don't remember what it was. Yeah, I completely lost. But I just thought that was really cool that she had that. And so I'll definitely be purchasing from her at some point in the future. And maybe one day I can meet her, since she has a friend. We have a mutual friend. But she's, yeah, so Tasteless Designs on Etsy is her shop. Okay, talking about Etsy. I opened my Etsy shop finally. I know I've been talking about this forever. And I finally did it. I don't really know what I was waiting for. I think I was waiting for just different things. A big one was like shipping supplies. But I realized I can probably start shipping with what I've got. And then when I get a little bit better, get better shipping supplies and like business cards or something. So anyways, currently in the shop, I've got all of my stitch keepers. I'll go ahead and show you guys what I put in currently and what I've still got to list. So all of my stitch keepers. So this is a 7-inch stitch keeper. And then I've got all of these. This one, which is white with gold dots. All of them are lined with, oh, I also want to get little labels to put on the inside, but all of them are lined with white on white polka dots. So, but I've got 2 of these gold dot ones, and then I've got this one, and those are all 6 inches, so they would fit 6-inch DPNs. And then I've got this little miniature one, which is 5 inches. But all of these could also hold circulars, so those are what I've got in the shop currently. And then I also listed, I'm sorry, let me just dump all of these out so that I can show them. Okay, and I've currently got listed my miscellaneous progress keepers, which don't come in a set. And, okay, so I've got a TARDIS in there.
But the canvas not.
And I've got two of these Unicat ones, and then I've only got one TARDIS, and then I've got 2 Unicats, and I've got 1 dinosaur, and those are all just purchased on their own basically. And then I've got in the store, I've already posted, I haven't got all of them up, and I'll be adding the rest of them like on, let's say Monday. I'll add the rest of the ones that I haven't got in already on Monday. So I'm missing one. Okay, there we go. So I've already got those that I just showed you and all those stitch keepers, and then I have my Nature's Candy stitch marker set. So here's the progress keeper, which is an orange, and one of the stitch markers is an apple, and then I've got a bunch of bananas and a pineapple. Listen, I love this one. And a watermelon. Okay, so that one's already in the shop. And then I've got the Comfort Food stitch marker set is already in the shop. Let me see. Is that all of them? No, I'm missing one. There it is. Okay, so that comes with a pretzel progress keeper, a donut stitch marker, a hamburger stitch marker, a taco stitch marker, and a pizza slice stitch marker. Okay, so I've only got, of these 2 I've showed you so far, I've only got 1 set of each. Actually, no, that's not true. I've only got 1 set each of most of these. There's one that I have 2, and I'll show that at the end because that's what I'm planning on posting. The next one that I've currently got up is the Sushi is a food group, I think is what it was. Sushi is a food group. And that comes with a shrimp nigiri progress keeper. And then 2 seaweed roll stitch markers, which they're different. If you look at them, they're like insides are different. And 1 rice roll and 1 onigiri. That one's already in the shop. There's only 1 of that one. And then I've got, next up is the tea time. Oh, I forgot to show, I've got 1 sheep progress keeper too listed. Okay, next up is the tea time set. Yeah, missing one. Oh, there it is. Okay, and that comes with a teapot progress keeper, a teacup, a tea bag, a sugar pot, and a milk or cream pot. And that is all I've got in the shop currently. And going up in the shop on Monday is the Magic is Real set, which comes with a golden snitch progress keeper, a lightning bolt stitch marker, a Harry Potter book, Felix Felicis, and a Deathly Hallows. And then a Sweet Treat set, which comes, I'm sure everybody's seen this one by now. This one comes with a dangly ice cream progress keeper. And then it comes with a wrapped candy, a fudge pop, a cupcake, and popsicles. Okay, and then last but not least, I will be putting up and these are probably the last ones of these I'll ever make. I have 2 sets of these. I think I've got 2 sets of these. Yeah, I've got 2 sets of these. And like I said, I just don't think I'm going to make these again. They aren't my favorite. They aren't terrible. I've just had a lot of trouble figuring out how to get them the way I like. So if I ever do figure out how to get them the way I like, then I'll make more. But as of right now, I probably won't be. So this set is only 4. And it comes with knit, purl, increase, and decrease. So, and there's two sets of those. So that's everything. Yeah. So if you want some of my stitch markers, NoodlKnits on Etsy, and I'll put a link in the show notes and everything. Which I think I forgot to mention this too. Wow, I'm terrible today. Show notes can be found at noodleknits.wordpress.com. Etsy shop can be found at etsy.com/noodleknits, I think. And that's it. And that's all I've got for you guys today, I think. So I guess on to chatter. So if you are not very interested in personal life, then thank you for joining and hanging out with me, and I'll talk to you next week. This week we didn't do a whole lot this week, so I just have a couple of things that I thought were fun that I would like to talk about. One of them was that on Sunday we spent pretty much all day after church outside at my in-laws, letting Rowan play on their playground that they had got for the boys, and the boys meaning Rowan and his cousin Sean. And so we were pretty much outside all day doing that. Yes. We were pretty much outside doing that all day on Sunday, and then we rode a donkey carriage, which was fun. Our cousins they raise horses and stuff for competition, and they have a donkey. He's like a little miniature donkey. His name is Eugene? Ernest. That's what it is, Ernest. And so they have this like little carriage that hooks up to Ernest, and he can trot around on it, or trot around and carry you around, and it's fun. So we did that. Me and Rowan rode that. It was a quick ride, but it was fun. And then on Monday we went out to the lake. We live really close to this small lake. It's back behind us, and it's small. It kind of looks like a river because it's long and narrow, but because it's long and narrow, and but it's a small lake. It's called Crew Lake, and we live close to that. And we were out there because Rowan wanted to walk down there after we checked the mail, and we found a little turtle. He was really small. I'll post pictures of him at the end, but that was a lot of fun. And otherwise, we've just been kind of hanging out. So, but it's been a good week. I hope you guys had a great week, and I hope you guys have a good week coming up. And I'll see you guys next week. Happy knitting.
Are you done?
Bye.